Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 7th day of July 2025, and it's Saba Day as Kenyans remember 35 years ago today. There were those protests that eventually yielded the multi-party democracy that the country enjoys today. That was December 1991, a repeal of Section 2A of the Constitution then. Now, on the front pages of the dailies this morning, Daily Nation, Saba test anniversary, police deployments ramped up to secure protesters, curb looting, echoes from the past 35 years since the inaugural Saba pro-reform demos on July 7, 1990. The country continues to grapple with poor governance, corruption, abductions, extrajudicial killings and other ills, issues that have now compelled the Gen Z, who are not yet born, to pick up the mantle in the fight for good governance. That's important. 35 years later, veteran politicians Martin Shikuku and James Orengo, among others, flashed the opposition's two-finger salute as they head to the Kamukunji grounds in Nairobi for a rally to press for multi-party democracy in 1991. And of course, with that two-finger salute today, it means something else in the political space. Then youthful protesters picket on Kenyatta Avenue in Nairobi on June 25th this year. You can see what's going on. Then there's another story here of Wonder Girls, Tibet, Keep Your Gun, shatter world records is a story that you find on the back page of the Daily Nation. From human to hero, how Keep Your Gun, Tibet inspired each other's record-breaking runs and friends on and off the track. The two world-conquering athletes have been feeding off each other's jaw-dropping performances around the globe. And of course, you'll find some of the details inside the paper. Kenya's Beatrice Tibet wins the women's 5,000 meter in a world record time of 13 minutes, 58 seconds, 0.06 on Saturday in the 50th Prefontaine Classic Diamond League at Hayward Field in Oregon. Then Kenya's Faith Kipyegon celebrates after winning the 1,500 meter in a world record time of 3 minutes, 48 seconds, 48.68 seconds on Saturday in the 50th, the same event. And of course, she shattered her own world record with 0.36 seconds. Back to the front page, Tears for Sweetness, the plight of cane farmers. And you'll find that about 40% of a farmer's total cost of production is transport, says Ezron Kotut, the new acting managing director for Nzoia Sugar, which has been leased to Rise Group West Kenya. Then TSC sued in Rao over promotions. Teachers group fights opaque process. Then on the front page of the Standard, you find the story of Don't Kill Our Sons in a clear case of increasing lawlessness and the rule by goons. Mothers meeting to call for restraint from police during today's protest were visited by a gang of club-wielding thugs who broke into the compound of the Kenya Human Rights Commission. They violently scuttled the event, citing orders from above. Not intimidated, the mothers regrouped and proceeded to Muthangari police station, and from outside the gates delivered their message, "Don't kill our children," during Saba. Then you find a quotation here from Nusim Naimasia, rights activist, who is saying, "I'm a Kenyan mother, and for that reason I heeded to the call by Kenyan mothers to defend our children who are being killed by police in the streets. It is unacceptable to see the blood of our children being spilled when they are fighting." And so much more that is inside the paper, including the back page, which is also the story of Tibet and Keep Your Gun. You can access that and get more details about it. Now, this morning I have a member of Parliament for Bilgut constituency, who's also the chairperson of the Defence, Foreign Relations and Intelligence Committee, Nelson Koech. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Kenyans.
And I have Robert Mbui, the member of Parliament for Kathiani constituency, is also the Deputy Minority Leader at the National Assembly. Good morning.
Morning, Sam. Morning, viewers.
How did you make it here?
Well, through a lot of hurdles, because they've kind of closed off almost all roads. Even out here, just going to State House. Yep. At the petrol station right outside, they have put the razor wire, the new technology they've discovered recently. So I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. Sam, when the minister says that he's going to go and make sure that everyone gets to office, and closes all roads to lead to town. So it's.
Though he's not the same one who may have given that order. I think that order could have come either from the Interior or maybe from the Transport Ministry. But Honorable Coach, how did you make it yourself here? Any challenges on the road?
No, I didn't have a challenge at all. Yeah. I just came straight to where you are. But I'm told that there's a bit of heightened security, especially those ones that are going into town, because we do not want a situation where the police officers might be, and innocent Kenyans who are in town, might be caught unawares by gangs that are intended to rob Kenyans who are just going to go to work and do not want to be involved in any of what could be happening today.
But so what are the plans? With the reports that most of the roads are blocked into the city, what is the bigger plan?
From where I sit, Sam, there's from 24th last year, there have been a series of demonstrations. What you saw 2 weeks ago was a demonstration that whose intention we did not know, number one. And number two, that left so many people and businesses suffering, including police officers. I'm sure you saw the videos of police officers being roughed up by goons in town. There's a lady, the video was online, a lady was being roughed up in town. I've just seen page 4 of the Daily Nation. Officers who suffered in the protest last week. It was 2 weeks ago. It was deadly. So many people lost businesses. People lost life. Some were hurt, some were injured. And I think the police are, and still you find that the public is apportioning the blame on the police. I think now the government is taking seriously the protection of property and life, and that is why the security today is heightened. I think the intention is to make sure that everyone who comes to town has only one intention, that they are going to be peaceful if they are going to do a demonstration, or goons who might want to use that opportunity also to get themselves into town are deterred at the point of entry into town. So I think those blocks are necessary, at least for now, as we wait to see how the day will unravel.
Isn't it unfair that, I mean, there are Kenyans who really report to work very early. Wouldn't it have helped to even issue a notice?
Is it fair, first of all, that we're having this demonstration today? That should be the question. What is it about? What is Saba Saba about? Will we be deciding to do Saba Saba whimsically when we think that it is okay?
Before you shift the question, is it fair for someone who reports to work very early, they're on the road 4 a.m., 5 a.m.?
Is it fair that we're having demonstration today, sir?
Just hold it, Mheshimiwa Koech. The question is, someone is going to work, it's 4 a.m., it's 5 a.m., they reach a point and they are told that you have to alight. If you're going to work, you walk to the city. Is that fair? Why not just issue a notice?
I feel for Kenyans who might not even make it to town today. I really feel for them. But at the same time, this is a very complex situation, especially for our security officers. What do? Do you then allow this group to, come into town and cause chaos and hurt people and hurt businesses?
Which group are you talking about?
You know, the initial intention of a peaceful demonstration has been hijacked by certain forces, purely for political purposes. If you allow a situation where people who are armed getting into town to harass people who are coming to do their daily businesses, then again the government will be blamed. So it's a situation of what do? Do you allow then this group to go with the rest of the public that is genuinely going to go to work, or will you rather than contain a situation, and allow the people who are generally going to go to work not being infiltrated by people who are going to do other businesses in town? That is a situation where we are. It is painful, but it's something that we must live with, at least for now, because we are confronted with a situation, unprecedented situation in this country, where people have decided that we can wake up today and say, no, we are going for mandama, for whatever reason. Some justifiable, some, to me, unjustifiable.
Okay, Mheshimiwa Mbui, what are your thoughts about this situation and how it's being dealt with?
First and foremost, Sam, I see it is just a way of intimidating the general population. The police, by setting up all these roadblocks, are just intimidating people, and it's this thing of trying to show, that they have power. But allow me to pass my sincere apologies, in fact, on behalf of the Kenya Kwanza regime, because what they did yesterday in attacking mothers who had come together to, to issue a statement and ask their sons and daughters who would go to the streets to be peaceful.
Yeah.
And then goons are sent to attack them. I want to condemn that in the strongest terms possible. It's not the first time. We've seen on social media clips, groups all over the country in different places being assembled and probably being given instructions on what to do today. I think we are reaching that point. We're going backwards. Sam, it's unfortunate we are not moving forward as a country. Yeah. But, my colleague here said that, these demonstrations have, it doesn't understand the intention. He even talked about the one on June 25th and surprisingly says, oh, what was the intention? I want to maybe remind him that last year, June 25th of 2024,
yeah.
Young people came to Parliament to present a petition to us, because we were then at the verge of passing a finance bill that was fairly draconian in their opinion. And really, it was draconian.
Yeah.
And that coming hot in the heels of the 2023 finance bill that really dealt a very serious blow on everybody's income and disposable income. So they came to the streets because the 2023 demonstrations that were led by political leaders did not seem to have stopped the government from proceeding. So when they came to the streets, 60 of them were shot dead. And so on June 25th this year, the youth that came to the streets were coming to commemorate their colleagues that died. That was the purpose. And then, of course, as usual, the police, because of the intention to intimidate, got out there and killed more. And then, just before that, when Albert Ojwang had died, the youth had gone to the streets to also protest about the police brutality and the killings. And in that process, a few are also again gunned down. So the whole thing is really a mess. From one mistake to another, this regime keeps shooting itself on the foot. And today's plan is also surprising. Minister of Public Services, everyone should report to work. The interior blocks the roads. I mean, then you wonder what exactly is this regime up to. So I want to just advise my colleague that today there is also a commemoration of 35 years, I think, since Saba started. Maybe you don't know, but Saba was also again fight for freedom, a struggle for Kenya's heart and soul. Because at that time, before it started, we had a single party system, which in essence was struggling and strangling democracy. We have gone back to the same situation. I think the youth are also aware that under the current regime, National Assembly, instead of being a multi-party kind of setup, has, members from the minority have been taken by the same system to become part of the majority. Again, we are going back to a single-party state, considering that the current president had said he wants democracy, he wants a strong opposition. But the very first thing he did when he came into office was to procure, in whatever way, members of the minority parties, the majority then, so that they became his members, so that he ended up with a majority. So we are back in the struggle, and it is very similar to what was happening before. We are going to a multi-party state. I think the young people want Kenya to be a democracy again.
Now, sorry, we'll come back to that conversation. I was just taking stock of your situations on the roads because Kenyans are reporting those challenges. But let's now switch gears a little bit. We'll come back to the 35 years of Saba.